Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about finding the perfect crosshair for you. Now, it used to be a little bit more difficult to get a crosshair. You'd have to download a workshop map and you can go through and shoot whichever crosshair you want and it would automatically equip it for you, or you could go through and pick your style and change it manually. Okay, but now that they've added the ability to change your crosshair from the settings menu or even steal it from a teammate, it's a bit easier, but also it's bad because now you can see everybody's crosshair. Now you're like, oh shit, that one looks better than mine. I want that. So you pick it and then you kind of mess up your muscle memory. And for me, when I say messing up your muscle memory, in my opinion, I have no backing for this, but in my opinion, changing your crosshair will have some sort of negative impact on your gameplay. Unless you change it to something that you've kind of used in the past, it's going to have some sort of negative impact on your gameplay. So, for example, this crosshair is what I'm currently using, and I have to kind of make sure that I get the head of the enemy in between all four lines, okay? And it's blue, so it kind of looks a little bit different, and I know how it's going to look on different backings, because blue is the opposite of orange, which most maps have an orange hue to them, and because I play with such a high saturation, pretty much everything has an orangey hue, except for maybe a map like Train or Nuke or Inferno, where I can still change the color of the crosshair to yellow, where then it's the opposite of blue, okay? So I know what it looks like to get a headshot with this crosshair. If I were to change the crosshair to, let's say, let's get a nice dot. Like this guy, this is going to be completely different for me, because now I have a dot that I need to land a headshot on. The gap is a lot bigger, so I don't really aim the head in between all four lines. I aim it on the dot. The color is different. It's a lot bigger, so I can't see. I'd cut down on my visibility. I probably wouldn't play as well with this crosshair. Like, that was difficult for me to hit a headshot right there. Or for example, let's see. This crosshair is nice and tight, so I'm not really getting the head in between the four lines. I'm getting it where the lines intersect. They're technically not intersecting, but they're damn close to it. And the crosshair is also pretty big, okay? It feels kind of clunky. I don't like it. Now, I used this crosshair, actually, a lot. I used this crosshair for over 6 months in a row, and for some of you, that's longer than you've even been playing the game, right? But the consistency of using this crosshair, where it's a style 5, so when I spray it opens up, but I have a dot in the middle, okay? I don't know, it just grew on me. It felt right. But after a while, it just didn't feel right anymore. So I changed my crosshair to a nice static style 4, and let me make it a little bit smaller than this, so the length isn't as long. Let's take out all the red in there, so it's a nice blue. And while this is okay, it's a bit too prominent and pronounced for me. So what I like to do is I like to turn the alpha down to about 230, just in that area. And this is going to make it a little bit more transparent, turn down the opacity of it, so it's not as harsh, and I can kind of see things through it, right? It gets affected by the background color. So when finding a crosshair for yourself, yes, you can go in here and pick out your favorite pros crosshair and use it, and that's not always a bad starting spot. In fact, I would recommend using a pros crosshair at the start. You also have to keep in mind that sometimes crosshairs look different depending on what resolution you're playing. I know a 4:3 crosshair looks different if you put it into a native 16:9 setup. All right, it's going to look a little bit different between resolutions, so you have to keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, you're going to want to customize it. You're going to want to come up with something that fits you. There is no correct crosshair, although there are wrong crosshairs. Like, what the hell is this? Okay, that's a wrong crosshair. But there's no correct way. Just like with your sensitivity, all right, there's no wrong sensitivity. I guess there is, but I mean, if you can perform with it at a high level, it's not wrong. There's no right sensitivity, okay? There's suggestions, there's averages, there's a bell curve, but nothing is wrong. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good day, and I will see you next time.